Hey guys, Grant with Nick's Handmade Boots, and today we're going to be talking about why you should leave the waxed flesh process to the experts at Horween. Here at Nick's, we recommend our 3 key care products: the Nick's Oil, the Nick's Grease, and the Smith's Leather Balm. These products are very easy to control, they're very easy to apply. Take a look at this video to see how we condition our boots. In this video, we're going to show you again, why you should leave the waxing process to the professionals at Horween. Today I'm going to show you what you might not want to do when waxing your boots. Hey guys, Grant with Nick's Handmade Boots, and today we are going to be re-waxing the waxed flesh by Horween. This is the very first urban logger that we ever made about 2.5 years ago. And I have not been a very good boot owner. I have really only cleaned these boots one time, and these are my daily wear boots. Today we're gonna walk through the process of cleaning them and getting a fresh coat of beeswax on them. First things first, let's get all of these laces and false tongues out of the boots. Next, I'm going to take my Nick's nylon brush, and this is really just used to clean out the debris. I'll just take the brush to the entire boot. That looks pretty good. And if you're not going to reuse your laces, sometimes it's easier just to cut them out. See all that junk in there, and it also sticks to any grease and oil that you might have in there. So again, that's why whenever you clean your boots, you really want to get in here to clean all that stuff out. All right, first things first, you're gonna want some water. This can be done over a sink. For this video, we just have a basin of water here. And just a quick note, we're never gonna get this back to its original waxed finish like from the factory. Horween has developed a process for waxing their wax flesh product over 100 years, and there's no way that we're going to get it to look exactly like the factory, but the goal here is just to get a good coat of beeswax back on the boots. So with a tub of water, I'm going to go ahead and just get the boot a little bit wet. I'm then going to take my saddle soap and a brush. Going to get the brush wet. You really want to lather this stuff up, and then we start the scrubbing process. I use this stuff fairly liberally. I mean, it doesn't really hurt anything, and so I want to make sure that I'm really getting material all over the leather. So you can see that's pretty well coated on there. And as we rinse this off, we'll just see all kinds of dirt and grime come off this boot. Okay, I'm going to lightly just rinse. I don't want to fill this boot full of water, but we're just going to rinse off the saddle soap. For this video, I'm just using a candle to heat up the wax. If you're doing this at home, everything that I'm about to show you can be done on a stove, or if you have a hot pad or something like that. You really just need enough heat to melt the wax. I'm going to create a makeshift stand here for my pot. This is the pot that we're going to heat up. For this video, I'm going to use 100% natural beeswax. This is something you can buy online or you can get from a local apiary. Let's start cooking here. Maybe. Again, that's way too much wax for the boots. This is about halfway melted. We're gonna go ahead and pull it off the heat now and start waxing the boots. So I'm using a roller for this application. You can also use a paintbrush. You can use a wicking brush, a foam brush that's not a roller. For me, these are really cheap. You can get them at the hardware store, and I feel like it helps just to get a very even application. The wax is mostly liquid now, and I'm just gonna get the wax on the foam roller. So at this point in the process, you're probably panicking because you think that you just ruined your boot. The good news is this wax is going to be remelted and pushed into the leather fiber structure. I do honestly regret using the roller. I thought it would work better than it did. I feel like it helps just to get a very even application. If I were to do this again, I would probably just use a regular foam brush or a regular bristle brush just to make sure that you get an even coat. The roller didn't really allow me to get an even coat on this. Next, we're going to take a heat gun and we're very carefully going to apply heat to the wax, and what we're looking for is just to see the wax get re-wetted and liquefied and just kind of see it seep into the fiber structure of the boot. We don't want to heat the leather too much, so I'm going to put this on low. You can definitely burn the leather. That's not good, so it's just going to require you to kind of manage the heat and make sure that you're getting off the leather as the wax melts. So at this point you can see that most of the wax has absorbed into the leather. Obviously you can see some of it drip down onto the welt and the welt stitching here. Again, you're not going to win a beauty contest with this process. As winter is coming, I actually like to put a bead of wax in here to protect my sole stitching. And within a day or two of wear, most of this is going to kind of chip off and you're not going to see it anyways. So all this excess, yellow material, as this thing begins to dry a bit, you can really just chip that off. You can leave it on if you want. It's going to fall off pretty quickly. For the left boot, I'm going to go ahead and just use a traditional brush, as that roller didn't really work as well as I thought it would have on the first one. So we're just going to go ahead and dip and apply and see if we can get a more even coat on this boot. I'd say this went just a little bit better once I got the hang of dipping it quickly and applying it. I'd say that we used, probably about a third of the amount of wax on this one. Let's go ahead and get it heated up. And if you don't like how dark your boots are, just throw some wax on them. So I'm going to put this on low. You can definitely burn the leather. That's not good. I would definitely say that using a traditional brush was much easier to apply once I figured out that you need to dip and apply quickly. It also, even though there's still a lot of excess material on here, it was significantly less than using the roller. Now, if you don't like all that excess wax on there, you can go ahead and just take a small tool, like a screwdriver here, and you can just slowly just drive this around the edge and start picking some of that off. There is some value on keeping the wax on the stitching for waterproofing. But if you want to dress the boots up a little bit more and you don't want all that, then you can definitely remove as much as you want. You can also take the heat gun again and you can just use gravity and you can try to get all that wax out of the welt area. But you can see with the screwdriver or something like that, a key, anything you have, it removes that excess pretty quickly. Similarly, on the midsole area and the heel stack area, you can scrape, as much of the wax off as you'd like. Again, for most people, this stuff is just going to kind of continue to work its way into the leather, or it's just going to kind of chip and break off within a couple days wear. So you can also take your nylon brush and you can actually kind of push it down into the welt area. That's just going to kind of smooth everything out, and it will knock off the excess wax as well. So honestly, the result is a little bit of a disaster. These don't look great, but again, these are my urban loggers. I wear them almost year round, and here in the winter time, I don't want any moisture and snow getting into my footbed. So I've just pretty much caked these things in wax. They don't look great, but they're gonna get the job done. Let me reiterate, if you love the way your brown wax flesh looks and you wanna maintain this look, we would recommend lightly applying some Smith's beeswax to the areas that need some waxing. If you don't care how your boots look and you want to coat these in wax to optimize the waterproofing and water resistance, you can use the method that I did in this video. Now again, this was a bit of an experiment. A few things that I would have done differently. I probably would have taken some masking tape and masked this off. As you can see, the wax wants to flow down. It got all over the welt, which again, I don't really care about, but to control the flow of material, I probably should have masked the bottom part of this boot off so that it wasn't so messy. I also probably wouldn't use the roller again. It didn't really apply as evenly as I thought. I found that the brush worked a little bit better, but again, you have to be very quick. You have to dip and apply very quickly. Also, keep in mind that we've just heated up the leather and we've just coated it in a film of wax. These boots are gonna feel stiff when you put them back on. And again, as you work the leather and you break in the boot, it's gonna start softening up again. So don't be surprised if when you put them on, they feel a little tighter and they feel a little stiffer because we've just coated them in wax. So overall, am I satisfied with the way this came out? Not really. But again, there's a couple things that I would change to improve the process a bit more. At the end of the day, I just want these waterproof for the winter. But again, using some masking tape, taking a little bit more time, getting the excess wax melted better, those are things that I probably could have improved on. Again, thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe. And we're also gonna link all of our care products in the description below. Thanks for watching.